Hello everybody, it's Mike Levin on May 24th, 2022, Tuesday. The Cheshire Cat has become the Stapleton Cat. Well, maybe. Who knows? I'm about to install Windows 11 Insider Preview 10.0.25120.1010, which is the RS_ pre-release. And I figure I'll capture the part of it that you almost never see, the part during the reboot, just by shooting the video here with my camera. Tell it to restart now. And where my process has been normally cutting out and not allowing you to see through this, that will be the part I allow you to see through this. I already did the Windows 10 to a Windows 11 upgrade. I did many reboots under Windows 11 to get all the service packs and updates installed. And then I don't even know if they call it service packs anymore. I'm still living in the 90s in my head. And then I did the Windows subsystem for Linux install, another reboot. And then I tried configuring Windows 11 to my satisfaction, and it's landing just shy of it. And so I installed this Insider track, Microsoft Insider developer track version. And it seems like that was it. That was very quick, especially compared to the olden days. So we go into there, and I guess I go into Windows Update. It says attention needed, error encountered, retry. And then we'll check here under the Windows Insider program, and then we'll see if there's some sort of about. Wait, what? That is what I had downloaded and gone through the install. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm glad I'm capturing this. Restart required, restart now. This is the same restart for the same version as I just showed you a second ago. So it was a Windows restart that it prompted me for, that it didn't do right away. So I hit the restart button that was sitting there under update. It did the restart. It did seem to be much quicker than what I was expecting. Okay. This is what I was expecting before, which we did not see. So I guess it was some sort of All right. Glad I'm capturing this. Microsoft needs, well, it is a developer track. And they say don't use it unless you are ready to lose data. They did say that. I accepted that. I guess I'll use this time. When last we left off, I showed you this symbol from my life. One of the last things from my dad that I remember. Piece of matter that actually mattered and lasted over the years, because you need to hold on to something. It's not very much. But it occurs to me that I have another thing here, which is the folding ruler, which is exactly the same. It was one of the handful of tools from his peg wall of tools down the basement of the house I lived in growing up in Lafayette Hill. And now belongs to the cookie entrepreneur from the neighborhood. If he's still around. He used to collect cars, and he had car after car going in the driveway. And my old next door neighbor, who I grew up next to, used to complain to me about the new neighbor who just goes and revs his cars every morning. Rev, rev, rev. cookie entrepreneur who revs his cars, said my neighbor, who now, interestingly and ironically, owns the local candy store in the neighborhood. He's the candy man. Which was a thing growing up in the neighborhood. We always had a candy man who, another person number 3, who owned a candy store. And during Halloween, when my neighbor and I were kids, that was the big house to stop at Halloween. And neighborhood kids would figure out how to stop there 2 or 3 times, changing their costumes. Let's see what we got. Nice, Microsoft. Nice one. All right. Is this still the same number? It looks like the same number. Downloading again? Am I caught in an infinite loop? I might be. Hey, glad I'm catching this. Quality assurance. In Microsoft's defense, they do have to support all kinds of hardware. Oh, wait, Microsoft laptop. There's that portfolio design I talked about. Look at these lines on that thing. Right? It was beautiful. In concept, it's beautiful. In reality, not quite so beautiful. Oh, is it? Yeah, okay. At least it admits update failed. Retry. Let's give that a retry. Retry here or retry here? I guess retry here because it's like more connected to the fact it's an update or a, new version. So the retry is a re-download. Did it download it incorrectly? Am I going to have to go through that again? I let this run all night. It seemed to have gotten stuck at 99% on the download overnight, and I figured, oh, that's just switching from the download to the install, and maybe it had to do something that took a long time, so I went to bed while it was stuck at 99% on the download. And when I woke up this morning, it was still at 99% on the download. So you do as one does, which is quit out of the setup program and go back into it. And that didn't do it, so I just rebooted the machine. I considered stuck at 99% all night is enough reason to actually, do a restart, because you can't let it sit there forever. Maybe I made a mistake doing the developer track one. Maybe I should have done there's 3 of them. There's the pre-release candidate, stable. That's too few new features. And then there's the one in the middle. I should have probably done the one in the middle. Ugh. Downloading 8%. So I bet there was some sort of checksum error and it tried installing it, thinking maybe it was correct. But the original download was corrupt. This is my guess. I don't know. And so after 2 tries, it might have been 3, I tuned you in on the first retry. So it's tough to count these restarts, these Windows restarts after a while. After they restart. So it might be 2 tries, it might be 3. But either way, we're getting up to at least the 3rd. If this download actually works, right? See, it gets stuck on 8%, it counts up, but then it stalls out. Like watching paint dry. 10 minutes. It's amazing how disrespectful of one's time and life these things are, but that's, I guess, the price. That's the price of bleeding edge. When I talk about bleeding edge, this is what I'm talking about. Sure, you can expect to have problems on a developer track operating system version, but this much trouble on just the download and install? Okay, the number's moving again. That's good. 12%. Oh, yeah. Every percent that you see it move now, after all these, attempts to download and install, every bit of progress is a reason to celebrate. Oh, see how that number is jumping up? It must be doing sub checks of the pre-downloaded file. Checksum type stuff, integrity checks, to see if it can use what was already downloaded. And this is where it got up to last night, and then just got stuck there forever. And when I woke up this morning, only 4 hours later, but that's where it still was. And so the question is, when something is downloading and gets stuck at 99%, what do you do? Give it 4 hours, 4 days? What is, okay, 100%. This is good. All right, installing. Bated breath. Bleeding edge. I need a bleeding edge poem. That fugue state poetry stuff is starting to happen. Maybe if I talk about it, it gets rid of the spell. Microsoft. Our brains are micro and they're soft. You name yourself for your contempt for us. Send flack right back because it's just. We know what you're doing is miraculous, so make guinea pigs of all of us. The more time you give me, the more time I'll channel. All right, stuck at 35%. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I'm gonna sit and wait. I'm gonna take it. The things we'll do for a screen transition and graphics subsystem for the Windows subsystem for Linux, right? That's what these two things are about. This is about when I do control Windows with the arrow key to move left and right between virtual desktops, I want to transition an animated effect so I can have a mapping of where I am left, right in that ribbon of virtual desktops. In fact, I'll do those transitions so that you can see why it's so unacceptable. No, I would need a third hand in order to do that. But at this point, you would, use the Windows Control and Windows keys together, these two keys. Whenever you see me going left and right, it's just muscle memory, dropping my hand down here, and then my other hand over here for left and right between the virtual desktops. some point, maybe I'll cut away to my cats and make this video actually interesting. Every percent progress is a gift. Every percent gives my spirit a lift. Every percent inches closer to when. Every percent towards rebooting again. "49 becomes 50 and still we must wait. 50 becomes 51, it's getting late. 51 to 52, we sit and we wait. 52 to 53, is this feeling great? 53 to 57, oh what a joy. 57 to 58. This doesn't annoy. Oh, 61%. This is good. This is good, right? We're almost 2/3 of the way there. Almost 2/3. You gotta love the way thirds break up over the decimal system. We'll be 2/3 of the way there when this is 61.6 infinitely repeating. No, I mean 66. 66.66666666. It liked my joke. It's going to stay there forever. 62, yeah. Do we have a 63? Do I hear 63? Oh, 100. Wow. Okay, so the buttons became retry again. It knew it had problems before. I did the bottom button before. I'm sure it makes no difference. I'm not superstitious. I'll try the... Oh no, I think I did the upper one before. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're both connected to the same thing. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It went back to downloading? This is just completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. How many times does it expect us to sit through, download and restall, download and install attempts before you go, this is just unacceptable. If it can't even download and install, what's in store for me when it is installed? Choose your insider settings. Dev channel, it sounded like a good idea, but I guess we're going to go to beta channel, recommended, right? Serves you right for not taking the recommendation, right? This is stuck in that download loop from before. So now that I changed my Windows Insider setting, there is an issue that I've got trapped into the upgrade loop, the infinite upgrade loop. Oh, I am so glad I'm recording this with my camera from the outside. Let's try settings. Windows Update. Nope, still exactly where it was. So changing this did not seem to make a difference, maybe? It didn't say, whoa, you just changed what your selection was. Stop getting preview builds. unenroll when the next version releases. That's how I got off of this stuff. Ugh, I remember that. More about changing channels. Ugh, okay, web browser. Switching between channels. If you switching between channels is easy, but if you've installed a build-in, I don't know if I installed it. It will depend on your current build. Settings, pick your, choose the radio button. The next time you receive an update, it will be for your new channel, switching from the dev channel. Check the watermark at the bottom right of your desktop. Look in About Settings or run the winver command. Let's see what we're on. Yeah, I don't think that there has been a successful installation of any of the inside track, the Microsoft Insider stuff. I think I'm still on good old stable current release of Windows 11. Okay, 99%. Whatever it was doing, it got up to 99%. I have the new version selected here. Yep, beta. I have that selected here. So if whatever it's doing here fails, on the next attempt, it should at least be the beta one instead of the developer channel one. Jeez Louise. Oh, the fateful stuck at 99% state. Lasted 4 hours last night until I had to reboot the machine to make it get past that. Maybe that's how I corrupted the file in the first place. They would say 4 hours isn't enough, you got to leave 14 hours. The first 99% come down in 20 minutes, and then that last 1% is 14 hours. Don't you understand how these things work, man? Yeah, I do. I understand perfectly well how these things work. It's called Eat SH. You know what? Linux betas wouldn't make you do this. So then why aren't you on Linux? Oh yeah, this is a stepping stone. First you get WSL, first you get the Windows subsystem for Linux running on your Windows machine. Then you get yourself used to Linux, desktop or not, emphasize not. And then, wait for really great support for hardware from Linux, which will be funded for you by Uncle Microsoft because they partnered up with Canonical, and Canonical is the masters of Linux drivers for all the different variations of hardware out there. Ubuntu isn't such a popular version because it's like that much better than other Linuxes. Ubuntu is a popular version because it has broad hardware support for all the consumer hardware devices out there. Debian, which it's based on, does not, you see. Debian, which Ubuntu is based on, focuses on the core operating system issues. and not the hardware and driver support. They're like, oh, let other distros work on that, fragile, you know, state of platforms du jour kind of stuff. And that's fine. That's a waste of time for anyone who's not like actually making money from it. Debian is a completely volunteer organization. Canonical, that makes Ubuntu, is a regular company with customers and money and stock, I believe. I don't know. But certainly some people are rich off the Microsoft deal, I'll tell you that. Michael Shuttleworth, really interesting guy. Oh, I'm getting my low battery warning. It takes so long and running my camera's battery out, waiting for going from 99 to 100%. It's not worth it. I'm sitting here making you wait for something that took 4 hours overnight and still didn't finish when I wasn't doing it on your time. So, restart. Hey, you're in the same shirt as yesterday. It's just 4 hours later. Well, 5 or 6 if you include my attempts to get Windows, developer insider track installed. I'll celebrate by taking a shower and changing my clothes. You're not invited. Or maybe, I don't know. Depends what you're into. I miss the Windows 10 way of having startup in a fixed location. Or not startup, but system. The system icon in a fixed location. They went back to a floating location. Okay. Windows update. Yeah, still at the 99% after a reboot. Honestly. And even this is just to get the version that I don't want anymore. Stop getting preview builds. Oh, that's on the next update. So you're stuck. So this is what they mean by, tarfu to foobar. Tofu to tarfu to foobar. Things are effed up. Things are really effed up. And then effed up beyond all repair, or alternatively recognition. I guess in this case it would be repair, foobar. Because I can still recognize it as Windows, right? Stuck at 99% done. That's Windows, highly recognizable. I mean, I guess you can forgive them because, they can only support so much hardware. Oh wait, Windows hardware. What do I do? What do I do? Pause for 1 week. Update history. Let's see what was done on this machine, right? Give us information. So there are quality updates. Yeah, let's say that again. Driver updates. Definition updates. Other updates. Uninstall updates. Oh, you can uninstall updates. It's not the uninstall updates. Will you ever finish? Is this like a joke? It's not April 1st, is it? Half hour into it. Is this how I really want to be spending my time? This is the bleeding edge that I talk about avoiding. What are you talking about, Mike? Can you just go on the Insider program? Just get the developer track, you know? You don't have to be on the latest dev. You just switch yourself to the beta. It's recommended. Okay, yeah, you're right. Get off of the developer, get onto the beta. I get it. Yeah, so what next? You change the radio button? I did that. I changed the radio button. Oh, then you just go to the Windows update and it'll just download it and put it on your machine. Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. I did a reboot. I actually did a reboot to see if I could get past this step, which I want to say the last time, but it's actually several times ago. It had a 4-hour pause and still wasn't getting any further. What kind of options do you have? Okay, a full hardware restart. Let's make it, force it to not just do a restart, not just do it politely by sliding down that, but you do a press and hold. That's an option. Give it some time. Modern hardware, and you can see why, you know, this laptop was out of commission, right? So this design here, while brilliant in so many ways, has a vulnerability. That's the vulnerability right there. It's too much space. Clamshells are safer. At some point, whatever, stepped on, put something heavy down, whatever, and just that little bit of tension in there cracked the bottom of the display. Ugh. Okay, I lost my charger. My phone charger down the back there. That's okay. That's okay, Mike. Keep forging on, forging on, forging on. So this is rebooting after the stuck at 99% on an update of the Windows Insider Track developer channel, having given it many attempts to get past that 99%, including a 4-hour overnight allowance. Hmm. 99%. I'm sure I'll be rewarded pretty soon with it going back to 0%, because that's what I'm waiting for it to switch which channel it's grabbing it from. What do you do? You give up is what you do. You just give up. At the end of this video, the culmination will be, giving up. Forget it. It wasn't meant to be. No wonder no one is showing the Windows graphics subsystem for the Windows subsystem for Linux. They couldn't name it right, and now they can't get it to work right. Is that fair? No way land. We're going to no way land. It's like Wonderland, but it's no way land. One more try. Got to try something. You can't just sit there forever. Windows Insider account. Edit. No, the account doesn't make a difference. Choose your version. I started out on the dev channel. I moved to the beta channel. Let's go to release preview. There's no save or anything, so I guess you go back to open Windows Update. Advanced options. Advanced options within advanced options. No, I was hoping to find something having to do with caching. There's going to have to be some sort of clearing your cache somewhere. Activity monitor. Get help. Yeah, as if those links get you the help you need. System. Windows Update. Windows Insider program. Stop getting preview builds. Unenroll. Open Windows Update. Completely insensitive to those settings. If I could put the phone down, I would start Googling on issues like where the cache is held. I got my Android Note 8 phone. Best phone I ever got. Note 8 was with Samsung really trying to prove something from the Note 7s exploding, and so many people saying the Note line was dead forever, never coming back, can't survive something like that. And now look, Note is being blended in as the main flagship product. It's so good that the Galaxy line and the Note lines are being merged with all the great features of the Note just being default on the Galaxy models. The power of, you know, the subtle details of a platform being so right. So, I'm in the Google app. Windows Insider download stuck. Microsoft Tech Community. I guess I should show it as I go. %. The issue has persisted through 3 clean installs of various Windows 11 versions. Any advice? Uninstall third party. There's no third party. This is completely fresh. The only outside software is OBS. I don't have any antivirus. End of discussion. Sorry, dudes. That's SOL. Resetting should clear the corrupted data. Use the following tutorial to reset Windows updates. Make sure to run the script as an administrator. I did not get a chance to run your script. Download someone's script and run it. That's all. It sounds like a good idea. I'm getting the low battery warning again, of course, because the charger fell. So I'm just gonna balance one phone against the other.
Soon you'll be walking across the floor. Bounce one phone against the other. Soon you'll be walking out the door. Nope, bouncing phones against each other is not a viable solution. Oh, my dad to the rescue. Yeah, thanks, Dad. I knew you were good for something. All right, that'll do it. Let's get that phone charging. You hear my cats running around. Maybe I will show you my cats. Make this a successful video after all. Tidy up a bit. It doesn't look too out of hand. Oh, you were just looking at me. Look back. Psst, psst, psst. Oh, there you are. That's Uri. Hi, Uri. Don't use me for your social medias. You're right, Uri. That's wrong. All right. I got it charging. I like the idea of balancing it here. And now we can at least use two hands to do our Google searching on our phone. I did not get a chance to run your script except for opening IE11 and logging into my Microsoft account. This PC runs on a local account and is not always online. I can't even say what, if anything else, I did. But the long and short of it is that the update began anew and downloaded successfully. Thanks for your reply. Huh. Yep. Useless. Another one, Windows 11 now. I recently joined the Insider program. It's on Reddit. Whenever I restart, the percentage alters and again jumps to 100% and gets stuck. Same thing here. Oh, and then it just piddles out. Oh, view more comments. Same here, any possible solution. So it's just a bunch of same heres. I'm a same here for sure. Check the software distribution folder. Software distribution. Stores all the temporary files that are required for the update. All right, there's a bunch of stuff here for updates. Here's the 524 and 523 ones.
guess I want to sort by date modified. Grab the very latest to go back as far as it really must be. Oh, look at those file sizes. Delete. Continue. Do this for all current items. Am I getting this?
Yeah, I think I am.
Wow, interesting video this will be. Now, switch to the track that I want to be on. We'll go to the beta, because I'd rather be on the beta than that pre-release thing. We'll have to restart. Restart now. Okay, fine. It won't even let me switch tracks, will it? Maybe after all this grief, I really only want to be on the pre-release candidate. Not even the beta recommended.
I guess while it's doing its thing, I'll show you one more thing from my dad that has. Oh no, I guess I don't point away. I'll show it to you soon. My dad died in '92, by the way. Settings again. Windows Update. Downloading 0%. Windows Insider program. Get started. Get started. Yeah, I want to get started. Just 3 bullet points. Same screen. Okay, get started now. It gives me a chance to link an account. I choose the beta channel now. Continue. Continue, 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 continue. Cancel? No, can't even do that. All right. Serves me right for deleting those files. Right now you incur the penalty box. The Windows, see, I'm stuck now in the Windows penalty box. I did something to take control of my own fate. And so you wait. And wait. And wait. Okay, it's up to 50 minutes. Good video, right?
Gee, I'm sure glad I'm on genuine Windows hardware. Okay, so I've linked the account. And now that I've linked the account and it does something like that and it has the beta channel selected, oh, continue worked here. The agreement, continue, I agree to have my life turned upside down, and one more restart. That's all, right? It's always just one more restart. Excuse like my area. I'm getting ready to move. Did I tell you? The lease on this place ended because they want to cash out on the market here in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, one of the worst places in the country for buying a home currently because of all the New Yorkers like me flocking out 280 to the burbs near the Delaware Water Gap, right? If you're gonna move out of New York, you want to choose one of the least crowded highways and you want to go to the most beautiful places. So that ends up in Pennsylvania, because down is the DC direction, up is nothing. Who wants to live in Albany? It's still in New York. The other direction is the ocean or Jersey, and so that leaves you Pennsylvania. You choose the least trafficked highways, which takes you over the George Washington Bridge, and that eventually puts you where I'm living now, the Poconos, considered the foothills of the Adirondacks. Okay, so it knows I'm beta channel, it knows my account, it seems to know everything. And now it is doing the download again from 0%, which is what I expected when I switched which track I was on. So, hey, thanks for joining me. I'm Mike Levin, and I just upgraded Windows 10 to Windows 11 to get the Windows subsystem for Linux on it. And after having customized my machine to my liking, there were a few things left I'd like to do. And unfortunately, those features seem to only be available right now in the Insider track, the Microsoft Insider track. And I signed myself up for it, Insider program. I signed myself up for it. I signed myself up for the middle of the three levels they give, with it being a developer level with lots of experimental features and a lot of, this is going to be unstable warnings. The beta version, which is recommended, and then the release candidate, which is most stable with the fewest new features. So I just put myself onto the beta channel and deleted my caches of my downloaded software, because it was stuck at 99% for hours and hours and hours, with lots of false restarts, lots of attempts to install that failed. And so I switched from the developer track that I was on back to the beta track. Nothing happened. It wouldn't get past that 99%. So then I deleted those cache files, restarted the system, and now it looks like it might be downloading it again. Although from these numbers, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's grabbing the exact same version as it was before. And this time it appears to be stuck at 0%. One of the things I did is I went into Windows Explorer. I go down to this PC, local disk C. You can go into Windows. you can go into software updates, and if you're in for a penny, in for a pound, right? So it was an S folder, right? Wasn't it? It was a software distribution. Go into software distribution. There's a few things. There's a data store. Get familiar with these. Nothing in here is that big. There's logs, and there's a database. There's a download, which seems to be the caches. Shared file cache. Okay, this is untrustworthy stuff. I'm going to probably delete everything out of this folder. Out of these folders, right? Because clearly whatever I didn't do the job. It's stuck at 0% on the download, and that is completely unacceptable. So Windows, thou shalt heal them thyself. Oh, look, it's only 4 gigabytes worth of file. Let's continue. The solutions of an old Amiga user. Do this for all files. Try again. Nuke the place from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Game over, man. Game over. Skip the stuff it absolutely can't delete. And so that whole try again is just, or do it for all current folders, is just a lie. Okay, there we go. It got quite a bit. Let's see what else we can get rid of. Stuff in data store. It didn't want to get rid of the database. Good for you, Microsoft. Keep one thing, right? Oh, this stuff. That does not look good there. If you're telling me 0% Microsoft, let's make it 0%. All right, that's more like it. Now there's nothing downloaded. Now things sink teeth into things, right? Of course, including that database there, and there's nothing I can do about that one. Maybe I'll try one more time. You don't even deserve that database, Microsoft. You're going to do this to me, I'm going to do this to you. All right, it won't let me. So now that I've deleted all those files, it's time for another restart. And so when I talk about Charlie Brown kicking at the football that Lucy is holding in front of him, perhaps you're not exactly sure of the kinds of parallels with real life, what that's a metaphor for. Casting, someone in the role of Charlie Brown, the person who never learns his lesson, and casting someone in the role of Lucy, who keeps assuring you they're going to do the right thing. And, perhaps these metaphors are lost on you. And what one should get out of such metaphors from the perspective of Charlie Brown, for example. Sometimes you just don't get it, Charlie Brown. Sometimes you just don't get it. Update failed. Yeah, no kidding, right? Double check my enrollment in the program. It might have been saved in one of the things I deleted. It's enrolled. Choose your settings. It's on the beta. Open Windows Update. Retry. back to downloading. 0% again. Let's see if that will reach 1%. 1%! Celebration. Do I have 2%? 2%? Anybody? 2%? An hour in? Not bad, right? Wake up in the morning at 5:30 a.m. Go to see how your download and install is working of your, after a year plus of saying Microsoft Windows Insider program, no thank you, not on my main machine, not on my main work machine. So this, again, I remind you, is not my main work machine. Which is exactly why I have the bravery to do this, because you can't fool me, Lucy. Oh, Lucy. But you can see how Googling did in fact show me the exact location. And my Note 8, this is my Note 8, the best phone model ever, bar none, that has survived intact for years and years as my general backup phone. And when Samsung had approved something, when the Note 7s started exploding and stuff, and everyone was, predicting the demise of the platform, Samsung, and I'll take the case off of that. I'll do it one-handed because it's just cool that way. Everyone predicted the demise of the Note platform, and Samsung said not only will it not be the demise of the Note platform, but we're going to come back stronger than ever. And the Note line will become the most iconic phone line, second only to Apple. And they did. And so much so that Samsung over time decided to unify the Note line and the Galaxy line, using all the great stuff about the Note 8, of which the stylus is perhaps the very best. And so there it is without the case on it. And it's just that, perfect 2001 A Space Odyssey, monolith design. You want to hear the music, and it's about tools, right? The chimps throwing the bone or whatever and starting to fight. So it's the perfect design. When you they had that fingerprint reader on the back, so when you unlock it, your finger just naturally goes to the correct spot. Mine doesn't right now because I'm using the wrong hand, but you unlock it just perfectly just by holding it and unlock it. It's magical. It doesn't have to be pointed just so at your face. And that stylus in there is a Wacom tablet quality stylus, 4,996 degrees of pressure sensitivity. Pops in and out just perfectly fine. It never needs charging. Those nibs stay good for ages. You almost never have to replace those nibs. And when you do, they're easy to get. They're a common part. The whole stylus is easy to replace. It's better using a Note 8 stylus on the Note 8 than it is an Apple Pencil on the iPad. For my money, you spent much less probably on the whole Note 8 than on Apple Pencils over the years. Losing the back. Even Microsoft stylus is far superior to Apple's Pencil. Anyway, I'm just rambling, but that's because, Microsoft gives me plenty of time to ramble. 53% downloading. Let's see. %. This is good. This is good. Hopeful, right? Hope springs eternal. Over an hour of holding this phone up like this, and just a couple minutes respite as I balanced it to
do some Google lookups. Google lookups, which really did help, I'll say, that location, and I'm not going to delete anything again, but it's at 75%, so I still should have 2 or 3 hours left. I'll just open into that location. That won't ruin the whole process, will it? Arrow snap, best feature in Windows. Make Windows 11 usable. Boy, do I name my things correctly. Local disk. This is the C drive I'm in. Windows directory. One of the S folders near the bottom. Software distribution. And as expected, files being put back in there. The download. These files were all gone. They are now back. Can't see the calculated file size because Windows doesn't show calculated file sizes of directories. Few operating systems do. We're at 99% downloaded. Let's see. Anticipation, 99%, the magic number. This is where things go terribly, terribly wrong. Will it get past 99%? We're just on the recommended beta channel, right? Anyone taking bets? After the download, it should switch to installing. Let's take a look inside of here. It's got to be this folder. That's where the download must be going. Oh, and look at all the pieces of it. Sort by date modified. What? Yeah, that is in the download location. There's a lot of stuff in there. Oh, 100%, 100%. Get rid of arrow snap. I'll minimize this for a minute. We don't really need that. I was just curious what was happening. This should return to its normal size, make it familiar to watch. What do you think? Does it get past 100% download? So when something gets up to 100%, what does that typically mean in your mind? Does it mean it's done? That there's another thing about to happen after the download, or does it mean it'll just sit there? Is sitting there at 100% better than sitting there at 99%? Because that anticipation, waiting for that last percent, maybe it's not actually done the download. Maybe you're really just waiting for those last bits to trickle in. So you at least have some hope. When it reaches 100% and still says downloading and just sits there, well, that's a giant middle finger. Am I being unfair? Am I being unfair to Microsoft? Is this... Yeah, you really got to be an insider, You got to feel like you're special, right? Insider. You're on a program, the window, you get previews. It's something special. You're a special person. I'm special. You gotta be a little bit special. Fresh install, by the way, it was a fresh Windows 10 install. And then a fresh Windows 11 install. And then service packed, or whatever they call it, right up to the latest. No software installed except OBS, Open Broadcast software, to do some live streaming. visited the YouTube website. That's all. Otherwise, this is a stock, machine, standard software, nothing special going on, no antivirus or any of the other stuff that typically gets blamed. I did not exhibit unusual impatience. My first, oh, this is taking too long, let me do something, was after a night's sleep with it at 99%. So what you're seeing in this video is me doing that restart of the hardware after 99% on the download, and it being stuck for 4 hours. And it looked like it started to do the install. There were some false starts there. I wish I got that on video, but it failed. And so this is the trying to recover from those failures. Now, of course, the last time I had something like this, really, stuck like this, I went to bed, came back, and it was exactly the same thing 4 hours later. So I'm sitting here kind of just at that point, except for 1% further, 100%, which makes me think, hey, maybe reason for optimism, maybe reason to lead the people here to say, it went to installing. 0% installed. Happy day. Do I have a 1? 1% installed. All right, now, so this is something new because the version it's installing neither had an interruption during the download. It got to 100% and switched to install on its own. So it passed whatever data integrity, checksummy things it does. That's probably the reason for that long pause. And it's the recommended beta track as opposed to the developer track that I was on initially. So various Charlie Brown defenses that have been taken here is that I am on, I talk about the difference between these models. During this video, I showed you the portfolio design. Here is the clamshell design of the much, much, much cheaper laptop that I use. Still the same cool magnesium, still the same general Microsoft Surface technology. However, everything works and it's less vulnerable to harm. This one, on the other hand, was my attempt to get on best laptop built, just the best laptop available. That no one, it was on no matter how rich you were, for example, you couldn't have a better laptop. And for a brief time, that was this pup here. I would not say that anymore. Other models have surpassed it, and my thinking has changed as well, that taking that approach is wrong-headed, wrong-minded, bad application of resources. Cheaper laptops get most of the advantages. I applied the 80-20 rule. So the first thing is I'm on a cheaper laptop. I backed off and retried, so I'm not on this thing anymore. And now that I'm on that other laptop, this one is available for experimental stuff, bleeding edge, Windows 11 type stuff. And people would say, oh, virtual machines and stuff, VMware for this. It doesn't give you the real experience. This is the real experience right on the hardware. The performance is going to be better ultimately. The truthiness of what you experience and encounter, your actual knowledge is better, because of course everyone does this kind of stuff on virtual machines all the time. It's rigged to be successful. Do it on some real hardware. That's where things go wrong and real knowledge is acquired. So that's another place where the Charlie Brown back off and retry occurred. Another place is that we're up to 3, is that I went from the ambitious attempt to be on the developer track instead to be on the less ambitious beta recommended track after the developer track colossally failed on the download and install. over and over, losing more than just the time you're seeing on this video, but time yesterday and last night while I slept. It's all lost time on this. And so now I'm doing the recommended Windows Insider program track. Backup, retry, rethink. And so if it really were a Lucy on the other end, I would make sure that it understood what my expectations were. I'm like, I am going to come and I'm going to try and kick this football. I expect you to not pull the football away. Do you understand, Lucy? And if I got a yes, I understand, I would insist, Lucy, that would repeat back to me what my expectations were. Can you tell me then, Lucy, what you expect? Well, I expect that when you attempt to install something from the Microsoft website, that the install will complete and be successfully installed. That's right, that's what I expect. So then I actually back off and I try doing it, and then I video the process. I would, with me kicking the football with Lucy, I would videotape it so that after a positive acknowledgement from her, I would have it on proof, solid evidence, whether they were true to their word or not. You can't do that with Microsoft. There's not that level of interactivity. It's not like it's computers or anything. So you just have to kind of take it on faith, like a yes, like a non high resolution acknowledgement, a non checksummed response. And so then you don't have any assurances it's really going to work. So then the best you can do is video it to see whether the implied contract is being abided by. So that's this right now. I'm glad I cleared out all my stuff on my phone before starting to shoot this video. I might not have had room on the phone for such a long video. I don't have the highest end model with the most storage. Don't let me start to talk about Apple now. I'll try and keep it mostly about Microsoft. Installing up to 40%, that's good. I normally wouldn't even let you, sit through the whole download and install procedure with you, being such a boring watching paint dry kind of procedure as it is, but that is exactly where the most valuable information is, the places you can't screenshot, the, times in between that are normally lost to the, world of accountability, because you usually use Microsoft's own tools to do that stuff, or at least, a fully working machine. So without a fully working machine, the mechanisms for recording and accountability are lost. Enter the new world, or we just pull a phone out of our pocket and start recording. It's still at 40%. This kind of stuff should be shared more often. 41%. %. Every percentage is like a gift. Sometimes it jumps forward and the gift becomes manna falling from the sky. More often, though, it's long, thirsty stretches in the desert. What should I name this video? I'm tempted to go abstract with like the bleeding of the bleeding edge, but that won't get views. You know what gets views? Particular version numbers. Windows 11 Insider Preview 22621.1 NI_release. See, that's different than the one it was stuck at before. So I know it's actually downloading something different. That's a good thing. So let's actually note this. It's a 22. 621.1 NI_release. Can't do it one-handed, I'll get the point. Oh, 61%. I did not think I was going to be sitting here for an hour and 20 minutes. I thought I was just going to capture, for some interest's sake, the one reboot between the download and, here's the Insider Program developer preview. Ta-da! Let's see if I can find the transitions. Let's see if I can find the Linux graphics. That was my hope. Reasonable hope, I think. Not unreasonable expectations. But they did give me warnings about that version, the developer channel. They said, be ready to lose data. What they did not say is be ready to lose hours. And, if I didn't do correct rabbit hole evaluations, how deep does this rabbit hole go? I might be losing days on this, but I'll keep it to just hours, right? So you back off and retry. You have other searching things around available, so that you got one for the video you're shooting for accountability, you got another for that you're updating, and then you got a third for like Googling and stuff. And so that was actually necessary in order for this to work. Had I not had that phone available, I would not have been able to do my little one-handed Googling. I guess I had to put the phone down to really do it effectively, and come up with, what directory to go into, what files to delete. Did my first attempt on just the new ones, didn't work. So I deleted everything the operating system would let me in that, whatever it was, folder. I think I still have it open here. I'll see the full path. See the full path. There it is. C:\\Windows \software distribution \download \//. 64%. 70%. Nice. Optimism is an important aspect, right? So, you don't want to be, the pure Charlie Brown, right? Because then there would be no learning. But what you want to be is an optimistic Charlie Brown, that, hey, maybe this time the football won't be pulled away. And you go for the solid acknowledgement from Lucy that, no, he won't pull the football away. And I guess the closest thing I got to that in this case was the, next to the beta channel in here, it said recommended. It said recommended next to the beta. So it's like, oh, a little bit of acknowledgement back from Lucy that if I choose this one, things are most likely to go well. And so I took that, and I stepped back and, I did my learnings on the first time deleting out of that directory. It didn't work, so I delete everything that the operating system will allow. So back up, retry, and try something considerably different, stuff that you really would not tend to do except for the extremity of the circumstances. It's better than giving up, right? It's better to do a Hail Mary, I guess they would say in sports terms, than to, concede the game. So this is definitely a Hail Mary. I was close to giving up on the Windows Insider program. So I guess on that note, let me unplug my phone from the charger, and I will, read to you a dramatic reading of poetry here on the last bit of percentages. I'll try and keep that available. But this is The Will to Win. It's been a bit beat up over the years. Let me shine the light down upon The Will to Win. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you won't. If you want to win but don't think you can, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out in the world you'll find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in your state of mind. For many a game is lost, ere even a play is run, and many a coward fails ere even his work is begun. Think big and your deeds will grow. Think small and you'll fall behind. Think that you can and you will. It's all in your state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. If you've got to think big to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the fellow who thinks he can. Now, sure, fellow, man, right? Say all you will, but if you take the gender language out of it, it is a very, very powerful message. And it's the kind of resiliency and stick-to-itiveness. I got to find things to talk about, right? We're an hour and 27 minutes in. We're zeroing in on success, I hope. If this install fails, I don't know. How much can Charlie Brown take? But when this finishes, I have a high degree of optimism that it's going to work, because I am the fellow who thinks he can. And I am now quite aware of why people aren't showing the Windows Linux graphics subsystem. It's a terrible naming convention. What it should be is the graphics subsystem for Linux on Windows, right? At worst, the graphics system for the Linux system on Windows. F subsystems, that's just mental games to create a hierarchy, putting one thing beneath another. It's Linux with graphics on Windows, with Windows, because it is not a second-class citizen the way this stuff runs under the hypervisor. A Windows piece of hardware that runs both Windows and graphical versions of Linux, to be fair. $76%. What I'm curious about is whether there's anyone out there in the audience who's actually going to watch this all the way through. I guess I recommend it at 2x speed, as fast as YouTube will let you watch it, because, I don't particularly want to share this pain. It's more about, having examples of what it sometimes takes to be successful, and accountability. Gesundheit. I make things look so easy in my videos. I'm a Vim user of 10 plus years. Honestly, I started a lot of this at 40 years old, and I'm 51. So it's 11 years going on 12 years. So I am well past that 10 years or 10,000 hours that Malcolm Gladwell talks about putting into things in his Outliers book. It wasn't even him who does the research. He just gets credited for it a lot because he brought a lot of attention to it. I should credit the people who did the real research. But that 10 years, 10,000 hours for things that have muscle memory, we're talking, playing violin, driving, things where you're internalizing deep, stateful things into your body so that you don't have to waste your executive function of your neocortex on all the mechanics, things that can sort of become subdued, or not, it's not subdued, go beneath the surface and into your subconscious, but still being competently handled as if it was the best of your thought abilities being put on it. That's how, drivers become expert drivers, how violinists become master violinists, and musicians, athletes, anything having to do with automatic body behavior. Surgeons, definitely surgeons with scalpels and stuff, you certainly want them to be, right? And so I have put that in with, Linux, Python, Vim, and Git. There's not enough time in life to master so many things to that level. And then when vendors change stuff on you, like this change from Windows 10 to 11, there's recentering, the centering of things here, the moving of where settings is, where I always have to go to. I consider these things, personal insults, right? When people change tools on you that you committed the time and energy to commit to muscle memory so it fades into the background, and then they change it on you every 2 to 5 years, it's insulting. It's, it's not doing you any favors. But it makes them money. It feeds the upgrade cycles. It feeds the consultancies. And, everyone needs new stuff, infusions of new stuff to rally around. Well, that's because most people have not put in the 10 years and 10,000 hours on the right things. And so they need the reset button pressed on everybody simultaneously so they can be in a more, people of new experience levels and average abilities kind of rat race every 2 to 5 years. And the people who are willing to run fastest in those rat races and on those hamster wheels are the ones who differentiate themselves. And that's perfectly just fine. It's new people, new products, and lots of money for everyone, except for you. You're taking it out of your pocket. And sometimes you even need to just do that to keep your job, to keep, at pace with the youngins. And so it doesn't have to be that way, right? Linux, Python, Vim, and Git give a very viable path out of that rat race. There are certain modifications I've made to that, like I also advocate the web browser and the web browser user interface in general, which means that Jupyter, and Jupyter Labs in particular, is of a valid set of tools. Just don't rely on it as your main text editor for coding forever. But in combination with NBDev from the fast.ai people and Jeremy Howard, the browser running Jupyter Lab becomes a very nice way to get the Python part of it under your belt. Really advanced Python stuff, right up to putting packages so that other people can pip install them. You can do that with Jupyter Notebooks and NBDev. So, of the Linux, Python, Vim, and Git tool set that I recommend, Python has a really awesome, clear path on how to do it without so much commitment to these things that takes years of practice and development. And, for a while I was like, okay, just Python and just with notebooks. And then if you're like, oh, just Python and just with notebooks, then just use VS Code. And I'm like, oh, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, now that Linux is, quote, easy to install on Windows, Linux first. Get Linux on your machine as fast as possible, but do not focus on Linux. Focus on Vim. Get Linux on your machine as fast as possible and start your Vim education. It's installed. It's there. Type Vim tutor as one word. Go through the Vim tutorial. And then Git is a necessary evil that you'll have to eventually do to keep your code safe, to preserve and bank all the good work you've been doing. You'll know that when the time is right.
Sometimes when you want to share and teach, because doing so through GitHub Pages, the Jekyll publishing system from GitHub, again, thank you, Uncle Microsoft, is a great way to go. So the moment you want to take your Vim knowledge, edit text files, make Markdown, turn it into pretty websites, that'll lead you to Vim. So that'll lead you to Git. So Git will come in natural order. So get your butt onto Linux ASAP with this way that I do it here, right? Because once this is done, oh, whoops, that's OBS. I don't want OBS. Boy, I hope I didn't screw the pooch. We'll quit out of that as soon as it pops up. This one here, I'm at 96%. Should I be doing that at 96%?
This is what a PC should look like, except for the smudges on the screen.
Exit. 96%, okay. Have patience. I cannot teach him. He has no patience. He will learn patience. Jeopardy? Jeopardy music, anyone? Too soon for Jeopardy music. I could be doing that for hours. Hours and hours. 99? 100%. Okay. There still might be hours and hours left to this process. We still could be far, far from the finish line. 100% complete is not an indication of progress. Well, it's progress, but near completion. It's not an indication of actually being near completion. 100% installed is no assurance. Does my bitterness show much? Am I bitter? Keep that under control. Try to be a better person. Optimism, Charlie Brown. Lucy isn't going to pull the football away. Is she? No, it's checksums, or not checksums. After the download, it was checksums and integrity checks. After the install, well, could be checksums and integrity checks still, but some sort of check, some sort of assurance that what was just done was done correctly, but they can't bring themselves to tell you that's still part of the process. They want to say that it's 100% installed, trust us. And really this last step is, in some other space-time where we make sure that everything that happened correctly. So we don't have to count that against the install. Okay, restart required, restart now. An hour and 40 minutes in. We are where I thought I was beginning when I walked up to the laptop this morning. I should really wipe that screen, huh? Well, I didn't for this long. I'm not going to now. So there. I hope there's someone with a particular obsession that just drives you nuts out there. Oh, the updates are underway. Okay, the install wasn't the update, so 0% complete. Okay, Lucy. Oh, Lucy. That's okay, as long as you're seeing those numbers change. One hour and 40 minutes for anyone keeping track. Oh, hey, 100% complete. That's good. Yeah, if it's not taking forever to get from percent to percent, then it's just popping from beginning to end. Breathing exercises, right? In from the nose, out from the mouth.
In through the nose, out through the mouth. TIE fighters have terrible aim and explode really easily. X-Wing fighters survive submergence in swamps. And the Millennium Falcon, what can you say? I mean, the Kessel Run in only 20 parsecs or whatever that is. Okay, working on updates, 30%. I thought I was just seeing 100%, but okay, 30%. Parsecs are a distance, not a time. Well, give me a few light years and I'll figure that out. So it's yeah, okay. All right. I was going to say it's an hour and 45 minutes in, perhaps. We could be looking at a 2-hour video. And that isn't for the entire process, mind you. That's after, if you include me, the sleep overnight, 4 hours, and then probably an hour going into it, 5 hours, 7 hours, 7 hours to get onto a working insider track channel version of Windows. Some of it which required actual attendance at the machine. So, yeah, you're an insider. You gotta be an insider. Only insider. You can only do this to people who feel like they're getting something special. We'll see how special it is. That'll be the follow-up videos. This is a good video to go in between those updates. Windows 10 factory reset, not bad, not bad. That was a clean experience. I enjoyed that. I'm glad that capability is there. The upgrade to Windows 11 without doing all the updates that were waiting for Windows 10. Okay, that was good. I got to Windows 11. And then 3 or 4 reboots to get Windows 11 to have no more updates and restarts needed message. Okay, and that was fine, got through that. And then install Windows subsystem for Linux with WSL space -- install. It went very cleanly, only 1 reboot needed, expected for the hypervisor. You can't turn on a hypervisor in a system without letting the previously dominant operating system take its teeth out of control and have it turned over to some lightweight hypervisor DOM. In OpenStack language, I think they call it a DOM. I mean, it causes confusion because web document object model and other DOMs, domain controllers. So yet another DOM, but in the OpenStack free and open source virtualization world, that one is called the DOM, and it's a lightweight operating system, very little surface area, whose main responsibility is just, being the ringleader of all the more heavyweight one version of Windows, one version of Linux. That's why Windows and Linux are, simultaneous, full-fledged top hierarchy kernels. Now, not really hierarchy. They're both, sub to the DOM. Sub to the DOM. Good language, tech people. And reboot's required because the old way has to give up its DOM and hand over the whip to the new DOM. And that reboot is very much expected and required. Okay, here we go. And I guess I'll go into an about, and as soon as I'm satisfied that we're on 2.22621.1 beta release, I'm going to stop this video. Maybe we can keep it under 2 hours. There's no such thing as hypnosis. There's no such thing as hypnosis. Insert random interesting stuff. I journal. I journal a lot. When I'm not journaling and I'm cut off from my tech journaling tools, I can still journal. There is no such thing as not having the ability to capture ideas, to write, to keep going. No one can take that away from you. And even if I don't have the tools and the tech to do it, I do it in my mind. I picture a domino with 5 dots on one side and 5 dots on the other. The arrangement of the dots on like dice, the side of the die that has 5 dots. You put an idea in each one of those dots that will hold 10 ideas, approximately 1 for each finger. It is the equivalent of the fingers on the hand. And if you visualize it that way and put an idea in each dot, you can remember up to 10 things quite easily because of geolocation in your head. The method of loci in the first place, in the second place. Check for update. And I guess the WinVer program, they say, is one thing that you do at this point. I did that earlier in the video. I'll do that one more time. I'll get that happening while that's happening. WinVer, WinVer. Windows 11. Here's my little notebook. You're saying 2261.1. That sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. Oh, 22621.1. That is it. We have success. The version that I took note of is the version that WinVer is showing there. And you're up to date. Ha! Bank that win. 1 hour and 49 minutes. Okay, thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. And don't forget to thumbs up this paint drying video and deep insight into the insider experience with Microsoft. And don't forget to subscribe and follow me as I add the Wayland graphics subsystem to the Linux subsystem for Windows to get such things as the actual Ubuntu desktop side by side with Windows. That should be possible. And the transitions when going left and right between virtual desktops. Those are my 2 biggies. Hope to see you soon.